the experience that I had will be too much for him. That's what I.
Joseph Parker will knock him out with a right hand. It's gonna be a right hand that's gonna start it off. Yep. Might be the single punch, followed up by combinations, but
you see the fight going tomorrow night?
Fabio Wardley knockout.
As always.
As always.
oh, no.
Joseph Parker versus Fabio Wardley. Calm before the storm. There's a stillness around Joseph Parker that unsettles men long before the first punch is thrown. No bluster, no theatrics. Just a veteran heavyweight who's walked through fire and come out colder.
It doesn't really matter what anyone says. I just want to get this fight done and then move on to the next big fight. But for now, this is the biggest fight in my career. If I don't get this right, there's no point in me talking about no.
Across from him, Fabio Wardley tried to mirror that composure. His voice calm, his words measured, but his eyes betrayed him. Beneath the polished poise was tension, the kind that creeps in when a fighter knows the storm that's coming. Wardley's talk felt less like belief and more like a performance.
This fight, things have changed around a bit, makes things a little bit different, switches them up. And look, it's a little bit of pressure off for me because look, everyone's always expecting me to lose and it's not going to last well and he's going to blast me out and I'm not on his level. But I think everyone's either doesn't know or is forgetting or missing.
It's rehearsed under pressure. Parker wasn't buying it. He was studying it. Because make no mistake, Parker doesn't just analyze opponents, he stalks them. When that bell rings, he hunts in real time. And once the chaos begins, there's no escape. Johnny Nelson put it best.
I think it's a great fight between the two of them. I think for Joseph Parker, I think Joseph Parker just has to be him. This is more the question about Fabio Wardley. Is Fabio Wardley on the rise? Is he going to really make a massive dent or a difference? And this is opportunity to show if he...
The real weight lies on Fabio Wardley's shoulders. This fight, he said, isn't about hype or headlines. It's about validation. Parker's been here before. Faced champions, survived storms, conquered moments like this. Wardley hasn't. He's stepping into deep waters now, swimming.
Parker Wardley, I'm actually looking forward to that. I think Parker does it with the experience and the skills and that.
I think he overcomes, but I think it's too big of a
Wardley punches hard. Wardley punches hard enough to make it a fight and then drag him into...
In a sea of experience where a single mistake can pull you under. Parker, meanwhile, doesn't just swim. He controls the current. Parker's composure versus Wardley's chaos. Wardley insists he's ready. I'm in shape. I'm ready to rock.
I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to roll. Ready to fight. Ready to punch holes.
Rock, to roll, to fight, to punch holes. Just go, he said. But Tony Bellew, a man who knows both pain and precision, offered a sobering contrast. To him, this bout is a collision of technical refinement versus raw aggression. Parker's ring IQ, his foot...
I think Fabio's got any pressure on him going into this. He's a big underdog. People expect Joseph Parker to win, rightfully so. They're talking about levels, and of course Joe's fought at a much higher level, and his momentum and his shape, and he's in a great place, Joe Parker, so he should win this fight.
Footwork and shot selection, Bellew explained, give him a clear edge. Wardley's power is the wild card, unpredictable and dangerous. But as Bellew warned, sustained composure often beats spontaneous force at the elite level. Parker's balance between discipline and danger makes him a puzzle few heavyweights can solve. Look at him now, lean, focused.
Finding certain areas of his technique, which was proven in his last fight against, was it Hooney?
Justice Hooney.
Justice Hooney, right? Because he was exposed.
He was.
For his boxing skills.
Yeah.
And perfectly synced with his camp. There's rhythm in his demeanor, confidence without arrogance. He's not chasing a knockout. He's chasing perfection. This isn't a man hoping to win. It's a man expecting to execute. The evolution of a champion. Adam Smith captured the psychology behind this matchup, calling it a contest defined by expectation. Parker shoulders the burden of being the favorite. Wardley fights with the freedom of an underdog. Yet that freedom can become a trap, because with it comes inexperience. Parker has lived through the bright lights and big names.
Yes, it's a really good fight. You talk about styles gelling. It's a fight where the styles will gel. You know, Joe's on a great roll. I think he's won his last 3 now. Former world champion himself. change of trainers. He's got a good trainer. He's got great rapport with now with Andy.
The moments when pressure becomes suffocating. He's been there, and he hasn't cracked. That familiarity with chaos gives him composure when plans inevitably fall apart, and in heavyweight boxing, chaos always finds a way in. Duke McKenzie drilled deeper into the technicals. He pointed out that Wardley's last fight exposed critical flaws, a stance that falters under pressure, lapses in defensive recovery, and inconsistency in mid-range control. Against a technician like Parker, McKenzie warned, those flaws could prove fatal. At this level, he said, mistakes don't just cost you rounds, they cost you reputations. Parker's ability to transform opponents' errors into openings, and openings into knockouts, is what separates.
He relies on his power far too much. He hasn't brought enough to his game right now, and I thought he would have kicked on from that. If he's going to have any chance against Joseph Parker, then he can't just rely on that big right hand. Joseph Parker's a seasoned, well-schooled athlete.
Hits hard.
Yeah, who hits hard. He's on a resurgence in terms of his confidence and where he is in boxing now, Parker. So it's a good fight.
Separates him from the rest. Form meets hunger.
Frank Warren simplified it perfectly. This fight isn't about size. It's about form meeting hunger. Under Andy Lee's guidance, Parker has evolved into a complete, dangerous heavyweight. His jab cracks with purpose. His movement is deliberate, disciplined, and sharp. Every motion radiates self-belief. Wardley might thrive in chaos, but Parker has learned to weaponize it. The chemistry between Parker and Lee has become one of boxing's quiet success stories. They move in unison, fighter and coach, operating with shared instinct. Their partnership...
Then he can punch very hard, you know, you only have to ask my face. Yeah, he can really bang, and he's gritty, he's tough and he's gritty, you know, that's definitely his strengths.
Rebuilt Parker from the inside out. When skill meets structure, danger follows. And right now, Parker carries both into the ring. Duke McKenzie underscored the point. Wardley's raw power can't mask technical flaws. You can't rely on a single weapon against a tactician like Parker. Joseph Parker doesn't brawl. He builds. He reads opponents like a chess grandmaster, adapting mid-round, exploiting habits in real time. Every jab is a setup. Every feint is a question Wardley won't be able to answer. Power is temporary, McKenzie said. Structure is permanent. Parker's discipline and systemized aggression.
He's defensive, he's a masterclass in it. He does everything really, really well, exceptionally well. But he's also tough, never been down, never been put over, never really looked like he's been hurt.
And make him built to last. Wardley may hit hard, but Parker hits smart. And smart fighters write their opponent's endings one round at a time. Resilience, reinvention, and ruthlessness. Frazier Clark spoke from personal experience. He's felt Parker's power. Parker's shots don't just hurt, he said. He's great with the jab. He's defensive. He's a masterclass. He does everything really, really well, exceptionally well. But he's also tough. Never been down, never really looked hurt. Clark described the experience as rhythm disruption. Parker doesn't overwhelm opponents with reckless aggression. He dismantles them piece by piece. That's what makes him special, Clark said. He breaks your confidence before he breaks your guard. Parker's toughness isn't loud. It's quiet, methodical, merciless. Clark called it intelligent destruction. His grit isn't a slogan. It's written in scars.
So getting down to that weight is a big, big issue. And that can determine how this fight falls. Or Chris could say, I can't do the weight, man. I'll pay.
When veterans praise a fighter's toughness, it isn't flattery. It's survival testimony. Carl Froch, who knows what it means to walk through war, echoed the sentiment. He highlighted Parker's elite fundamentals, his variety of combinations, precision jab, and composure under fire. He's faced the division's biggest punchers, Froch said, and never folded. That resilience under siege is what separates contenders from champions. Parker doesn't just perform, he endures. And in heavyweight boxing, endurance isn't just an advantage, it's a weapon. Because when the chaos hits, and it always does, Joseph Parker doesn't drown.
he changes the tide. Joseph Parker versus Fabio Wardley. A nightmare matchup in the making. For Fabio Wardley, this could be a nightmare. As Carl Froch bluntly put it, Parker isn't chasing validation anymore. He's already earned it.
He looks happy, he looks fit, he looks sharp, he looks fast, and the truth is we're going to get the very best.
Now he's stepping into the ring not to prove himself, but to remind the world who he truly is. Andy Lee, Parker's coach, offered a glimpse behind the transformation. What fans are witnessing, he explained, isn't just a physical upgrade, it's a psychological evolution. Parker has rediscovered the joy of fighting. Once known primarily for his calm counterpunching, he's now blending that composure with controlled aggression. Lee isn't hyping his fighter, he's describing his craft. Every sparring session, every minor adjustment, every moment on the pads has built a sharper, meaner, more confident version of Joseph Parker. The trust between fighter and coach is absolute. Lee hasn't just refined Parker's technique, he's reignited his hunger, the key ingredient that separates good fighters from great ones. Because when a heavyweight starts to enjoy fighting again, he becomes dangerous. Free, fearless, and focused.
2 or 3 times in the Tyson Fury gym.
Yeah. Is there anything you can, anything happen there? You know, we know you like the sparring.
He knows, yeah.
Yeah.
If you see a jump, you know, even I'm not 100% in the good, so I know where to.
Focused. Parker now represents the kind of threat that makes even elite opponents flinch. The rebirth of Joseph Parker. Even promoter Eddie Hearn, one of boxing's most analytical minds, has taken notice. When Hearn says, Parker looks the best he's ever been, you listen. He's seen champions rise and fall, and he knows what true resurgence looks like. Hearn describes a fighter reborn, movement that's fluid, combinations that snap with precision, timing that's razor sharp. Parker moves with confidence, not desperation. He fights with purpose, not ego. And that difference defines this new chapter of his career. This isn't the Parker who fought to silence critics or chase validation. This is a man who fights because he loves it again. When a heavyweight finds that balance between joy and discipline, the ring stops being a battlefield. It becomes his stage.
He's got wonderful skills, and under Andy Lee, he's really rejuvenated, and I think he's one of the best heavyweights in the world, period now, former world champion, of course. I think he's better than he once was, so that's a problem for Wardley, but Wardley brings that power in, and remember, Joe Joyce knocked Joe Parker out, others have had him in trouble.
That's why Hearn's praise feels less like a compliment and more like a warning to the division. The Joseph Parker standing across from Fabio Wardley isn't just improved, he's complete. And that completeness could be overwhelming for a fighter still learning to swim in the deep waters of world-class boxing. The lessons of pain and progress. Martin Bakole, who's shared countless rounds with Parker in Tyson Fury's camp, confirmed what insiders already whisper. Sparring Parker isn't about surviving rounds, it's about surviving lessons. Bakole spoke with respect and realism. Parker's timing, rhythm, and quiet intelligence make him an exhausting puzzle. He doesn't need to posture or shout. He studies you, learns your habits, and punishes your predictability. You don't spar Parker to win, Bakole said. You spar him to learn. And when world-class heavyweights talk like that, you know the man they're describing is operating on another level entirely. Redemption through precision. Analyst Adam Smith tied it all together with brutal honesty. He called Parker's resurgence the story of redemption through precision. Parker once drifted between flashes of brilliance and frustrating inconsistency. But under Andy Lee, he's rediscovered his identity. His footwork is tighter, his jab snappier, and mentally he's unshakable. Smith reminded fans, however, that Parker's rise was forged in defeat. His loss to Joe Joyce exposed the limits of his endurance, but instead of breaking him, it rebuilt him. Parker studied the pain, absorbed the lesson, and turned failure into fuel. That loss became the scar that taught him how to survive, and now